We know the time suck that is searching for the perfect song for your wedding film. MusicBed has spent years collaborating with artists, bands, and composers to make it easier than ever for anyone to find the right song for their video.
With amazing artists like Chapters, Tony Anderson, and The Light, The Heat, MusicBed is the best place for wedding videographers to get licensed music.
Their subscription service was a life changer for me, especially since all of their subscription music is pre-cleared for every social media platform: Facebook, Instagram, Love Stories TV, and my personal favorite, YouTube, all pre-cleared.
And if you are interested in a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed. When you sign up, use the promo code HTFW and you will get your first month for free.
Like, go all in, because the land grab of getting some digital real estate around your niche, around your content, and building a tribe, just with trust. I don't even know how this is all going to play out and what it's all going to look like. I'm just going to get started. I'm going to punch fear in the face, punch perfectionism in the face, and press record.
Hello and welcome to the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn and I'm so excited about today's episode. But first, I'm joined by my good friend, Nick Miller. Nick, how in the heck are you, my friend?
Dude, really good. This conversation we just had with Sean was amazing. So good. Lots of great information. Why don't you just kind of let our listeners know about him and what we talk about and all that stuff before we jump in?
Yeah, man. So Sean Cannell, he is over Think Media. If you don't know him, you've probably seen his videos on YouTube, his ads on Instagram. This guy has over 1.5 million, that's million subscribers across his YouTube channels. He's killing it, and he agreed, Nick, to be on our show. I know. It was crazy. But we spent the last hour just talking about YouTube, how to crush it on YouTube, what you should be thinking about this year. Is it too late on YouTube to be growing a channel? Just so much good stuff, deep nuggets, if you will.
Deep nuggets.
It was really great. So why don't we jump right into this week's podcast?
Let's go.
All right, Sean. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on the How to Film Weddings podcast. We are pumped to have you here. Why don't you do us a favor? Tell our listeners kind of who you are, how you got to where you're at. Just give us that whole story.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. Pumped to be hanging out with you guys. And for me, I actually got started in video production in 2003. And at the time, I was just volunteering at my local church an hour north of Seattle, Washington, in a small town. And I was in my youth group, and the youth pastor handed me a Canon HV30 camera with mini DV tapes and Adobe Premiere software like 1.0, back when you get the CDs, like CS1 or something, and so I just started doing video, and your first videos are your worst videos, of course. And there wasn't like a lot of education stuff out there. I never went to film school or anything like that. There wasn't really YouTube yet, but in 2007, that was the first channel I managed, was for the church. And still, I didn't know titles, I didn't know thumbnails, but by 2009, I had been self-taught video. I'd been consuming as much mentorship or content or online content. Early days, I was following guys like Still Motion, because I started a business called Clear Vision Media. And because I was getting inquiries to shoot weddings, to shoot business videos and do video production. And that was also right around the DSLR revolution, right? So I had some camcorder stuff, and then I was like, what? 5D Mark II, but I couldn't afford it. So then the 7D came out, bought that one, and started using like Zacuto rigs and stuff, and even doing some video production. And I'm excited to talk about a strategy that everybody listening can use related to wedding videos specifically, and YouTube, that I applied during those days. But then I started to evolve, and or just what I actually did was, because I had my business, and this also applies to us as wedding videographers and like filmmakers, because I had all this gear, and originally I took out a loan so I could buy that gear. I bought a video editing PC, bought some lenses, bought a bunch of stuff I didn't need because I didn't even know how to use the 7D when I got it, by the way. And so what I did was I bought a Philip Bloom DVD for $300. I had a client booked, And I got the DSLR, but then I was like, dude, I don't know how to use this. So I was like, Philip, like rush me this DVD, and like learned how to use it, and then went and did this client work. And so I began to learn about YouTube and affiliate marketing and search and ranking videos. So even though I was making money as a creator from clients, I also started talking about cameras on YouTube, how to use this gear I was using, tutorials, as well as product reviews, and related that to affiliate marketing. And that was probably the original thing that allowed me to fire every client, build a life and business on my own terms, 6-figure income just off doing YouTube videos and Amazon affiliate marketing, which you could do through a blog or a podcast or YouTube. And then today, it kind of evolved over the years, wrote a book called, YouTube Secrets. Now I've been, I've been on YouTube over a decade, have a show where we interview other content creators. And so I'm absolutely obsessed with the power of YouTube as the second most visited website in the world and the second largest search engine in the world to help us grow our businesses, reach more people, and ultimately make an impact on the world.
Man,
what an answer.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's a big thing. John and I, over the last couple of years with our own wedding video businesses, have really been pushing YouTube, and the stuff that you said there is exactly why. Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is this massive search engine. People are using YouTube, when they have a question so that they can see how to do something rather than just read information. And so we're really pushing, YouTube, that all of our businesses should have, because, at least in our world, the wedding world, the YouTube videos, when you embed them on your site, they're not as pretty. They're not as clean as like Vimeo. So we're getting, a whole spectrum of people, kind of push back on, okay, I get the search and the monetization, all that kind of stuff, but it just doesn't look nice, So we're kind of all over the place on YouTube, and should you not use it? But John and I fully believe that it's where you should be. So what are some things? Kind of jumping. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. John, this is freaking me out that I can't see John like on my screen right now. So I don't know where I'm going. Sorry, Sean. I kind of lost my thought. John, help me out.
I mean, one thing you said though, and I love that you brought that up, but there's probably one thing I'm deeply passionate about when it comes to our tribe, us as creatives and filmmakers, is we get very romantic and obsessed with details like the quality of Vimeo versus YouTube, which the end consumer does not know the difference.
That's so huge. Yes.
One of the biggest things I think we sometimes do is we try to impress other people in the industry, which if that's your ambition, that's great. Then just really maybe be self-aware that is your ambition. 100%. You're trying to impress someone else that is pretentiously obsessed with their color grading and how they use DaVinci Resolve and their gimbal motions. But for me, I mean, at the end of the day too, if you're, the end user, like it matters, of course, like if the bride is into it or not or whatever. But like, I think that we would grow our businesses faster if we were a little more practical and business minded and not so artistic and, 30,000 that's just my opinion.
Yeah, totally. And Nick, I'm sorry that you can't see me on the Google Hangout, but I'm here for you, bro.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I mean, so Sean, I've been following you for a little while, and I'm subscribed to your channels, and I'm running the numbers, and it's like over 1.5 million subscribers across your channels, and I'm sure that you're getting asked all the time, like, how are you doing this? How did you build this? It's 2019 right now, and I feel like, I started pushing YouTube hard with my video business about 2 years ago. We just are right around 11,000 subscribers, and we're making money with, ads, and it's booking us things. But how have you seen YouTube change in the last few years? And is it too late, I guess, for a wedding filmmaker to get on that YouTube train?
Bunch of questions in there. Let me just hit.
That's what I do. Late? I ask 12 questions. It's easier for me to just get them all out.
Whatever one sticks, then you answer that.
Perfect. Let me just answer, is it too late? I mean, I know it's a different niche, but I don't know if everyone watching has heard about this girl, Cannell. She's been on YouTube for less than 60 days, 1.6 million subscribers, 3 total videos uploaded. You could search van life, solo female traveler with a pet snake. And she shot the video, right? 20-year-old, van life video. But here's the thing. She shot the video on her iPhone and edited it on her iPhone, and the channel blew up. So again, that offends us as, like, oh, I got the Blackmagic 6K camera. Good for you. Like, the thing is, though, like on YouTube, the content is more important than the camera, and really a connection with who are you serving, what impact are you making on your target audience. So the fact is, it's just not too late. Of course, it depends on your strategy. How did YouTube blow up for me? On this fundamental principle. YouTube is a search engine. It's the second largest search engine in the world. And how does that apply to wedding videographers and filmmakers? Well, first of all, you could look this up later. You type in Bellingham wedding video or Bellingham wedding videographer, and you're going to see my video ranked. It's years old. It's about 6 years old, maybe, 8 years old. And what I did, because YouTube is a search engine, is instead of titling my video whatever, I titled it a local search term based on where I shot it. And then in the top line of the video, I just had my email and maybe my phone number at the time. And it led to so many, I had actually already evolved and I was no longer doing wedding videos. I got so many inquiries. Why? They were actually getting married at the Hotel Bellwether. Bellingham is about 2 hours north of Seattle. And so people that were looking for like examples of the venue they were getting married in. And then if you're good and they like the quality, then it's pretty easy business conversation. I want you to do that for me because I'm already here and you've already been there. And so I think if you have to decide, this brings us to the next thing, you have to decide how you're going to use YouTube though. And I think there's going to be a cap on your growth depending on what your strategy is. Meaning this, as a wedding videographer, you have to say, who's your target audience? And are you going to try to build some kind of a channel that, is it going to be entertainment based? Are people just going to want to watch random other people's weddings? Probably not. So my channel, which is still up today, where you'll see that Bellingham wedding video, it never grew that big, 2,000 subscribers. It was really just a portfolio of my content. That was fine because it attracted business and it gave me something to send people to, but it didn't even really have the potential to grow. Your next option would be, are you going to be an educator? Are you going to teach photographers how to be photographers, videographers how to be videographers? Is that your target audience? Knowing who your target audience is and then what your value proposition is to that audience, what problem do you solve, is critical. That is foundational to win on YouTube and to start right. And so then your third option would be just something different. I just think with the skills in storytelling, in video production, and I would even think to a level of social media, maybe in marketing and trends, everybody listening is positioned to maybe take a third option and to tap into an actual niche of, and here's your options. It's either going to be entertainment, education, information, motivation, or community. It's either going to be entertaining. You have a vlog channel. You're trying to be a comedian. You're a musician. It's either going to be information. I watch Phil DeFranco for my news. He's got a news show on YouTube. Love him. At the end of the show, he says, now you've been filled in with the news because his name is Phil. Very clever, Phil. Information. I think a lot of photography, videography channels, they're both education and information. Here's the latest news. Oh, Blackmagic 6K dropped. Oh, the Canon 90D is coming out, like whatever. And then also education, how to use the camera or what camera should you buy. I blew up my channel, Think Media, from basically best camera for YouTube. You could go search that. Not only will you probably see me in like the top 4 or 5 spots, if you look at the first couple pages, you'll see an annual series around that topic. That's really helped me grow. Information, education. Inspiration, like you're motivational, you want to do, like Jay Shetty is blowing up, right? He was a monk and like big social media influencer, really blowing up on Facebook. He's using all kinds of filmmaking and very good storytelling techniques combined with sort of like, let's have better mental health, all those kinds of things. So maybe it's inspiration and motivation or community. And that could be, we do hangouts. We kind of do live streams. It maybe is a mix of some things, but it's very much a community thing. Those are pretty much your options. And if you want to dumb it down even more, it's either entertainment or education. So it's like planting a flag, knowing what it is. My channel, Clear Vision Media, was like almost neither. It was just sort of a business webpage. And And so if you want YouTube to blow up, you need to be good in either information or education.
It's so good. So, I mean, a lot of our listeners, are 5 years or newer into their business. They're figuring things out. We've been pushing, Nick and I, just about really showing up, with your titles, with your description, your tags. I would love a little bit of just insight from you. If I'm a wedding filmmaker in 2019, titles, thumbnails, description, is that important right now? What should we be thinking about whenever we're putting our videos on the internet?
Yeah, so here's the 5 things you need to be thinking about. You need to be thinking about your title and thumbnail the most, 1 and 2. Actually, not the most, but first, you need to be thinking about your title and thumbnail because your thumbnail is the visual. It's why they're going to click. I don't care how good your video is, and if at minute 6 there's a moment that is going to change someone's life, if they never make it to minute 6,
exactly,
then they'll never see it. So you need a thumbnail that makes people interested, hopefully maybe creates an open loop or makes it's like, I like it's clickable. Same thing with the title. The best kind of, especially in the YouTuber world, titles are not necessarily titles that give the answer, but they're titles that raise a question. So they're kind of like, Peter McKinnon is probably somebody a lot of people here would know who that is. And his most recent thing was like, make $3,000 a month doing what? ... Like it's like an open loop, like that you want to click through, or and then tags and description. That's metadata. That's going to help YouTube know what your channel is about. When you have a new YouTube channel, it's very critical because they don't know what your YouTube channel is about. And then in the middle, it's kind of interesting. When you have a medium-sized channel, it matters a little bit less, and then when you have a larger channel, it matters more again. So you just don't want to be lazy with tags and description. But here's the number 5 most important thing. So to recap, thumbnail, title, tags, description, that's 4. Number 5, though, is the topic itself. It doesn't matter if you have the best thumbnail in the world with the greatest title if nobody wants to consume that content. Like they see it and they go, great, that's like an art piece. That thumbnail is better than the Mona Lisa. Like it's actually better. Like that should be like digitized off the internet. But it doesn't matter because if it's about something they don't want to click on. So that's what you want to think about the most. And that's why it comes back to who's your target audience. For those that everybody should be doing that strategy, uploading great wedding videos that are city-based, venue-based, so you could rank for local search terms. You want someone that's looking for your city or your region or the cities you can get to, finding videos of your content so they can contact you to hire you. Then you want to make sure you're doing keyword research and optimizing your video for search terms related to cities and venues and whatever. And but then on the flip side, maybe the topics you're going to be talking about is something different. And I'll just make it real practical. So on Think Media, I talk about tech. The other day, I did a video on the DJI remote for the Mavic 2 and the Mavic Zoom drones. That's great, but check this out. Not that many people are into drones. And then it also depends on who your audience is. I don't have a drone channel. But not that many people are like that into drones. And that remote is only relevant for one brand, DJI, and only 2 of their drones. So it's like the most niche thing in the world. So guess what? It did not perform that good. Like the thumbnail was the Mona Lisa. Like I've never seen a better thumbnail. But like, no, it's like, cool, DJI remote. I don't have a drone. I don't want a drone. I hate DJI. You know what I mean? Like it's not the topic itself versus you talk about the right thing at the right time, then you could have a horrible thumbnail. But people are like, oh, what? And so, right now Sony's dropping the Sony RX100 ridiculous. Like what kind of power are we putting in a point and shoot, right? Now it has a mic jack. And then Canon's dropping the G7X Mark III. So I just did a live stream, 30 minutes, kind of shot from the hip because I got on the topic early and it was G7X versus Sony, whatever, Mark 7. And that video, it actually grieves my heart because it's got like 25,000 views. It keeps getting views. And it's just a 30-minute live stream like we're doing right here. And I'm just talking. I kind of share my screen and I share some specs versus like produced videos that I like bled, on to like put my whole heart into that got 4,000 views. But why? The topic. People are interested. I jumped on it right at the right time. So those are some tips that I think will serve people.
One thing that as I've talked to people, like, Nick, how have you gone? My channel in the last like 6 months has gotten almost like 4,000 subscribers. John's has like grown, by, 10,000 in 2 years, 11,000 in a year and a half or whatever. And, people are like, well, how do you do that? Like, how are you growing it? And, the thing that I keep coming back to, which I think you're talking about with the topic or the thing that you're talking about or whatever it may be, is that the content of the video still matters. Like, you can have the best title, the best description, the best thumbnail, whatever, but if your content isn't very good, then like people might click on it, but then they're going to jump right off, and then that hurts them in searchability because bounce rates and all that kind of stuff, right? So
100%.
Right. So the thing that John and I are also talking with building a YouTube channel and growing your YouTube channel is you also need to because I think a lot of us are in maybe a little bit different boat than you are, because you're doing education and talking in front of a camera, and we're, wedding videos and that kind of stuff. But make the best video that you can make. Makes look, after you create it, you look at it like this. I worked hard on this. I wanted to create this. I made this. It looks really good, and then put it out there and then see what happens. Because whenever you're creating quality content, that's when it's going to catch on a little bit better rather than just throwing something out there.
Let me ask you guys a question. For your YouTube channels, what is your target audience and value proposition to them?
I can start if you want, Nick.
Yep, you start.
I'm on Sean's podcast now, and I love it. So for me, I look at it as twofold. I really like the search engine optimization. I've booked lots of weddings all over the country and now starting to reach people in other parts of the world, which is great. But I wanted like a channel for people that love the rom-coms and want to sit around, and I want to create videos from my weddings that can go viral based on groom reactions to seeing his bride for the first time compilations, or I want something that catches people's attention because I'm seeing as it's growing, just with the 11,000 subscribers I have over there, which I think is a relatively small number, it's generating pretty good money off the ads already without even trying. And it's like, whoa, that paid my rent this month. Or it's like, that's incredible, So I've got a handful of videos that have, a couple million views or a few 100,000 views, things like that. And I just saw the value in, if I can get some of these wedding films to like really catch, number one, I'm going to show up first in SEO. And number two, these videos are making money for me every day. I have a few hundred videos on my channel now, and each one of them is making $1 or $2 here or there, or $3 or $4 or whatever. So it actually will replace almost 2 wedding films for me this year since I've monetized. Wow. So that for me, I just saw that and I'm like, hey, wait a sec. I'm not even trying to like teach wedding filmmakers or anything like that with that channel. We are with How to Film Weddings, but like I completely separated it as, if you want to watch emotional wedding films, subscribe to my channel. And then, kind of let that flywheel go. And then when I'm posting new films with different, venue titles, things like that, because of the amount of subscribers that we have, we get a few thousand views pretty quickly. And so, boom, we're the top of the search for that venue, like quick. So that's kind of my plan in a nutshell with it.
Yeah. And I'm really similar, just being searchable. Because people, when they type in, I live in Wichita, Kansas. So when they type in Wichita wedding videography, it's really likely because of how I stuff that in the actual Google search, one of my videos is going to show up, in just the Google search. And then the same way, I think this month I made a couple $100 just from my videos, being on YouTube. And it's like, easy, super easy money. You just make a video and you upload it, and there it is. And so I think I went through a stretch earlier this year where in 10 inquiries, 8 of them were because people found us on YouTube. So, which is massive. And, my wife and I are wanting to travel a little bit with our weddings. And so we're getting inquiry. Like I got one today from Indianapolis, Indiana, that she found us, on YouTube or something. So, we're able to travel a little bit more. People are finding us locally and in destination places, and the monetization thing is huge. So
that's such a great point. When you start leveraging YouTube, same thing started happening to me because people globally can discover it as they're researching wedding videos. That's super powerful.
Definitely. So I mean that's our vibe with it. With our How to Film Weddings channel, we are putting our podcast on there. We're putting tutorials, things like that. And as it continues to grow, my mind is being like blown by just like how quickly something can pop, especially if you do what you were saying and you're like not just jumping on trends to jump on trends, but like you're a seasoned pro when it comes to, these cameras and different things. You've built an audience. Boom, there's a release, you're on it. And the value of being right there in certain moments, and thinking through that, like, what could I do to like capture people's attention? That is the kinds of things that I think that wedding filmmakers are just completely, they're not even thinking about. They're just letting the auto-generated thumbnail show up on their video and then publishing it in like the death to my soul, So that leads me kind of to the next question. Not just even with wedding filmmakers, but you're dealing with lots of different people. You've got your course and stuff. We'll talk about that for sure. But where, like, kind of with the people that you're talking to, where are you seeing most people like miss the mark? Where are you seeing that?
When it comes to YouTube, as far as some of the biggest mistakes, I mean, I think the overarching mistake is just actually failing to have a plan. Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems kind of basic, but it's true. Like, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so Sun Tzu, the famous military general and the author of The Art of War, said that every battle is won before it's even fought. And so I think that, just kind of like you said, like by not uploading a custom thumbnail, that's completely missing just a fundamental basic of YouTube. Like, and I mean, in all respect, it is irresponsible to, I mean, why even be on the platform if you're not just going to do the basics? You know what I mean? Like, you can't drive on the road if you don't follow the rules. So just kind of like the 101, Michael Jordan said, master the fundamentals and everything else you do will rise. So I think it does start off with, I see lazy titles, lazy thumbnails, as you said, not optimized descriptions, not optimized tags, not thinking through on the topic itself. Then I think you could take it to the next level of, Nick, you were mentioning the content. It is so important. The structure of your video. A couple mistakes people make: long bumpers. Your Joe's wedding films, and like the video starts and it's like dun 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 dun, and a 30-second bumper of like Joe's wedding film. Like, no, like your bumper, that like little trailer thing. This does not need to be like "Friends, I'll be there for you," like the whole song. What do they do after in all the shows with the intro song? After it played a couple seasons, they had like the 5-second version because people are like, whatever. Well, on YouTube, it needs to only be the 5-second version. So if you have like a branded stinger, it's like a logo sting or a bumper, like that should just be 5 or 10 minutes. But another thing is not doing a hook well. This is probably one of the biggest insights everybody could apply. A lot of times, maybe our wedding film starts with like the split screen opening, slow gimbal shot. The song is building first. It might start well, but it starts slow. The internet's about hooking attention right away. So even if the film is done, what are you going to do in the first 5 seconds, the first 15 seconds to hook attention? This would be true for uploading it on Facebook as well, or anywhere else. You might actually like reveal the highlights right away, and then go back into the actual film, because you want people to stay around for those things. And sometimes the start is weak in terms of the internet, and we're talking about winning on Facebook and YouTube. So I am obsessed with the first 15 to 30 seconds of the video, because if you don't win them there, again, if magic happens at minute 6, but if they never make it to minute 6, and not just the title and thumbnail matters, what happens in the first few seconds that causes them to want to stay around. And just to go a little deeper on that, it's reality TV. What is, if you're watching the Kardashians, as everyone listening to this does, I don't even watch, but we've all seen reality TV, and what do? They take the most dramatic moment when like Chloe slaps Kim or whatever, and they're like,
he watches this way too much, Nick.
Right? It says coming up, and it's like some drum music, and it's like, and it's like Chloe flips, and what does it do? It's teasing the most dramatic moment. It's what morning TV does, their hottest story. In a second, we're going to be, so you have to adopt that mindset on social. Like, you will lose if you don't master the hook, and you'll win if you do.
Yeah.
It's a critical skill across social. So not mastering the hook, too long of bumpers. And then I also think that just another mistake is not thinking about the end of your video. I could see a lot of wedding videographers after your video stops. Maybe you pop on screen, or maybe that's weird because they're like, oh, it was a beautiful bride and now it's you. So maybe it's a voiceover over more B-roll, and make sure you're giving calls to action to engagement signals.
That's really good.
If you enjoyed this video, smash like, subscribe for more. Articulate value proposition. Like, it's not just subscribe, it's subscribe for more. Why should they subscribe? And a lot of people, again, it's like, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I want subscribers. A lot of people do kind of have a selfish bent. It's audience first. And so you really want to be thinking, who's watching this and why? Like, subscribe for more. So, John, you might be saying, like, subscribe for more, like, emotional, like, wedding films that will inspire you, as well as funny groom moments, as well as some other things. You might say, like, 3 quick things. And then also, question of the day, what was your favorite scene from this video or whatever? Just call to actions to engagement signals. And then knowing that YouTube allows you to do end cards to other videos and cards to other videos. You never want to end a video without giving a call to action to another video. YouTube rewards time on platform, and they want session time. You want people binging your content. So it's just an opportunity. Like, if they just end the video and you don't actually give them what to watch next, you just missed an opportunity. Whereas you might say, and for another video just like this, click or tap the screen right there, and maybe it's all voiceover over some beautiful footage and examples of the next video, whatever, however you do it. So those are just a few of the mistakes that I see people make.
So tell me, what CRM do you use? If you're not sure or you don't know what a CRM is, I'm about to save you a lot of time and therefore money. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. Basically, a CRM is an online service that helps you better serve your clients. HoneyBook is both mine and John's CRM of choice. We absolutely love it. HoneyBook allows us to do all of our correspondence, contracts, and payments all in one place. One of the features that I love is the automated workflow. We all have emails that we send out to all of our clients, right? At 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, the week of. All of us do it. Automated workflows make it so that those emails can go out automatically. Since I don't have to take time to, 1, remember to send them out, and 2, to write them, I save time and make more money by working more efficiently. Are you interested in saving time on the business side of things? Go to howtofilmweddings.com/honeybook for a free 1-week trial. Also, because the Honeybooks really like me and John, we can give you $200 off of your first year, and that also comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to howtofilmweddings.com/honeybook to start saving lots of time in your business. Oh yeah, legally I have to tell you that John and I are affiliates of HoneyBook. Yeah, that's really good. Something that I picked up from Tim Schmoyer was he was talking about like end credits and whatever, and he basically is in like his vlog kind of videos, he like ends the video while he's still talking, so it kind of goes to his end screen, and then he has here, click this playlist right here. So what I've started doing at the end of my videos for like that last 20 seconds, I kind of shrink the wedding video that's on into small in the corner, and then I pull up another video that is somehow related to that one that they just watched. Okay, this one was also at a barn venue, and I said, like this barn venue, here are some other ones, and then I have an arrow pointing down to a playlist of 3, 4, or 5 videos at the barn. So it's not like this massive 30 video playlist, but it's something small, so if someone's interested in that. And I think that a roadblock that I have gotten that if people have talked to me is because I think maybe people aren't understanding what YouTube is, and it's like, here is my art. I am putting out my art out here, and I don't want to mess up the end of my art. Okay. Which I totally understand how people want to do that, but I am looking at my analytics and I see in that last 20 seconds when it's, the end card, that I'm going from, 15% retention down to like 4% retention in like a second, so I'm trying to figure out, keep people on the channel and keep people there. So you're talking about doing end cards and maybe different ways to get people. Are there any other strategies or thoughts you may have for stuff, maybe in this realm, the wedding video kind of realm, to get people to stay on our channels, to continue to watch our videos, other than just the stuff at the end? Or is that really kind of the only thing?
I mean, I'm glad you brought that out. Again, it kind of is a throwback to just we can get so romantic, and I respect the artist's soul, but and that's fine. You just have to then say, well, you know what? I don't want to degrade my art, and I'm willing to give up the upside of maximizing this platform and growing my business and making more profit and impacting more people and doing more weddings. If you want to give all that up in the name of art, then great. and then just do it as a conscious decision. But I don't think again, it's actually a funny mindset to me. It's like, it happens all the time. It happens in every industry, but we just get so romantic about how we wish it was as opposed to how it actually is.
Yeah,
like if people aren't watching it, or if it's not being effective, like we should value being effective. So this you want to talk about messing with your art, you could do a mid-video call to action. That would be another thing to just it's something to experiment with wedding videos. But what I'll do is a lot of times I teach off 5 points. So I'll be like, tip number 1, make sure you set your aperture first. Tip number 2, like whatever, ISO. And then as soon as the tip is finished, I actually insert a clip now that goes, psst, hey, if you're getting value out of this video, can you smash the like button? All right, let's get back into it. And so that's called action to engagement.
Yeah.
But by the way, it's crazy effective, right? And the reason people haven't clicked like is because they just didn't even think of it and they weren't reminded to. Additionally, I didn't ask at the beginning. I've already delivered real value. Mm-hmm. And so that would just be one thing. As far as keeping people on, I think it's exactly what you also mentioned. The content just matters. If the video did touch them emotionally, which is huge. By the way, like every viral video touches emotion. Sure. I just interviewed Rob Dial, over 1 billion views, really good at going viral on Facebook. And every viral video, it either makes you sad, or it makes you mad, or it makes you smile,
sure,
or it makes you laugh.
Sure.
That is an attribute of any video. So yeah, the more you can strengthen the content, here's what it would come down to. I don't know if I have an answer, but this is what you want to happen on YouTube for the algorithm to be triggered and to start recommending you. You want people to binge your videos. Mm-hmm. Period. End of story. We all probably have our favorite shows. I remember my wife was out of town around season 4 of Breaking Bad. It was on Netflix at the time. I heard some things about it. Even though I had a full-time job at the time, I started, and what happened? I think I crushed 4 seasons in like 10 days,
mm-hmm.
While going to my job. I had no sleep, bags. But every time a show gets under your skin a little bit, it causes you to binge. That happens on our content because once someone wants to go deep, like there's more things to explore. So that'd be the question for you. How does this turn into a 10 dates and not just 1 date? Mm-hmm. How can I go on 10 dates with you where date 1 was great? They're dating your videos. It's like, hey, let's go on another. Oh, there's another one. Like, what is that for you? Let me articulate mine and then you insert this into your niche. Someone says, what camera do I need for YouTube? But then they go, at the end of the video, I could say, but here's the thing. Cameras feed off light, man. The greatest camera in the world with no light, like an iPhone will look better with light than a greatest camera with no light, which is not fully true. I know your audience would know that, but whatever. But then I said, now that you got the camera, here's lighting. Now that you got lighting, here's the thing. Honestly, the camera kind of matters, but the content's more important. So here's how you get views. Now that you know how to get views, how do you actually monetize your channel? Now that you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what is the journey? We call it, when we teach business and entrepreneurship, it's a customer journey. You kind of want to think through the viewer journey, and then you could be as hopeful as possible. Like, you can't make up a viewer journey. Like, what is it the steps for them? And as much as you can interconnect that, cross-promoting through cards, call to actions, you know, a voiceover, you on camera, playlists. That's your goal. And right now, Think Media gets anywhere between 2,000 to 2,500 views every 60 minutes. 100,000 to 120,000 views every 2 days, whether I upload new videos or not. The reason why is because of what I just said, is because of seeing the picture of building like of a library of ranked videos. Like you said, John, you've got a couple hundred videos. It's what's happening there too. A snowball gets created, but you can influence that snowball, and that's your goal.
Yeah. That's so good. It's making me think, like, to the people that are listening out there, and you're hearing all this. So the question that kind of came to my mind, Sean, was if you were getting going today in wedding filmmaking, knowing what you know about YouTube, what would your action plan be to go from, 2019 moving forward, just with the knowledge you know? Like, what steps practically would you start taking today to get into a channel of wedding filmmaking that is growing? You're able to monetize, you're able to search. I mean, what kind of things would just immediately come to mind, like, be doing these things?
Well, the core strategy itself, while there's options, what it would be for me, and by the way, I think this also has to do with predicated on your background and whatever. Without formal education, when I started teaching about cameras and like how-to video, I was 7 years into it. So I guess I think you just really need to have the chops. You don't need to be smarter than somebody. You don't need anyone to like choose you. You just got to choose yourself. You're always going to get someone pissed off. I piss off somebody every single day. Dude, the HDMI port goes the other way. You didn't mention the IBIS or whatever. I'm like, dude, whatever, bro. Like, I haven't, whatever. But like, so you're going to get like, you're never going to please everybody. But I guess like, you just don't want, by the way, if you really don't know your stuff, you'll get torn to shreds. Like, so you got to know your stuff. But here'd be my core strategy. I would actually have two different businesses. I would just do my wedding business like a gangster, be making sick videos, gimbal,
gangster style.
Gimbal shots. My grading would be, on fire. Like, I would be doing SDEs like crazy, charging high figure for it. By the way, I would also, based on my experience, if you asked the question, I'm taking it. I don't even know if I was going to take it here. I would try to go more high ticket than low ticket, because from my experience, it just is a better niche to be in, and better clientele. So I would try to.
He's preaching.
Yeah, I would try to elevate my wedding video brand. I would try to do less higher ticket weddings and try to build, honestly, like kind of a celebrity brand, because that's going to be your most influential, to sell them, some level of influential wedding videographer brand. Then I would leverage that on YouTube to teach how to and education. And the reason why is because then I could probably build an as lucrative, if not 3 to 4 to 10 times more lucrative business off of that. Now, the reason I could do that, by the way, is you could fake it and do all right. But I'm saying because you're step number one actually legit, you've got mastery, you've got the chops, then you could build this thing over here where you can help others level up. Affiliate marketing. And see, this is also the reason I would do that, is because my heart, this is like our heart literally for our community, is we are trying to help people create more time freedom, more time with their families, more leverage. I love client work, but I also don't love client work as much, because sometimes stuff happens. I know the stress of like that this SD card better freaking not crash, man. This is some mission. I've had some stuff happen, like the pressure. And so diversifying by now creating other streams of income through affiliate marketing, through marketing, like packaging your knowledge in an online course, through teaching how to. And YouTube is such a utility for that kind of stuff. You might say, Sean, that's crowded. Even in 2019, it's crowded. You don't understand how big the world is. You don't understand how many people are out there. How many different, you got the Nikon filmmaker kit. Oh, it's all about Black Magic. No, it's actually all Sony now. No, actually, some people still use Canon, apparently. No, now Canon, by the way.
Why is it got to go there, Nick? I mean.
And by the way, Canon's coming back.
That's what I'm.
For the full, They just announced that they're going full on into the spec war, and I quote,
Love it.
The 90D apparently might be full 4K, no crop, we'll see if it has dual pixel. So it sounds like it took about 5 years.
Yeah.
And people, I just thought they were like throwing in the towel. Like their efforts seem to be just like, we just don't give an F
Yeah.
man, about it, of even competing.
Yeah.
We'll just let Sony. But they just literally like, it just took them a while to adapt. But we'll see what that actually means.
Mm-hmm.
What's my point? Even just those brands are tribal. People are over here with Fuji, XT, whatevers, and now that's the new hot thing, and the color science is so amazing. Whatever. So the point is, there's like, you could build a full-time income off of just going deep in Fuji or Nikon or Blackmagic or Canon or Sony, all different workflows, types of people. So I think that legit, that would be my goal. And just to encourage everybody listening, I would start immediately because you could just start with what you know, start with whatever, and just don't try to fake it and pretend like you're going to help experts. Just help beginners. You only need to be a few steps ahead. Like if you're on chapter 4, you can help people that are in chapter 1. So you'd be like, hey, and that's kind of what I did. I took a $10,000 loan out, wasted about $3,000 on stuff that I ended up not actually using at weddings that I just thought I needed and other business videos I was shooting. And so I was like, man, I did not really have like a guide, someone to just help me. That wasn't necessarily way down the road. That's what's cool is I think that you might say, if I'm here, let me just I'll do like a beginning wedding videographer channel. You guys are already like expertise, crushing. So like you can help people scale. I wouldn't try to compete with you. I would say I'm helping people in their first year, whatever. And I think that's where the opopportunities would be.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good.
So good. It's like he does this for a living or something.
Right. So Sean, you probably don't know this, but we have a Facebook group. It's the How to Film Weddings Facebook group. All you need to do
It's on fire is what it is.
Right. You just need to go to Facebook and search How to Film Weddings, and then you can join our group and join in all of this fun. And we asked our group, we said, hey, we're having the Sean guy on. He's big on YouTube. He's a big deal. He knows his stuff. Do we have any questions? And to your credit, you have already answered a lot of the questions that the people asked. So that's great. So Josh Thompson, this is our Facebook question of the day. He asked, when starting out, how can you become relevant in a saturated niche?
Sally Hogstead wrote a book called Fascinate, and she has a quote in there, and it's this: different is better than better. If you want to stand out in a saturated niche, you got to figure out how to be different. And we already touched on a few of these things, but here's some examples. So Nolan Molt, a friend of mine, and helping us at Think Media and also producing, he's shooting some shows in LA. He's shooting some weddings. He's a Blackmagic camera guy. If you look at Nolan Molt on YouTube, he's just getting started. If you study his videos, the Blackmagic camera, ironically, is undercovered compared to other things, right? Pocket cinema camera. And so if he went like head to head with like Canon 80D, like 10 years, you know what I mean? Like it's like 5 years old. Like that is a saturated niche. Like don't even do it. There's a book called Blue Ocean. And it's about the fact that there's a red ocean. That means a saturated market where there's only so many fish in the water. There's blood in the water because everyone's going after the same people on the same things. It said, if you want to really just break through, Blue Ocean. What is it you do that's different rather than competing? I like to tell people when they actually want to be creators, don't try to be Casey Neistat. And by the way, when Casey came out and started vlogging, everyone started doing his style. And sure enough, they didn't become him. Well, why? Because you need to be you. You need to be you times 2 and really maximize yours. I mean, no one's life is that interesting, bro. He like lives in New York, like risks his life, boosted boarding. I mean, like was there at like 9/11, had a show on HBO. Like, do the math. Like you think through all the stuff he's actually doing and then his skills. And then that's the thing. Too many people are trying to imitate and copy as opposed to like maximizing their strengths or looking for that white spot. So it said, hey, Blue Ocean is like the reason your business can grow up and grow fast is because you go deep. So for example, Fuji is a fringe product. I'm not saying change your brand, but it just is less covered. And so a lot of the people that I've seen, my friend Andrew Edwards was doing tech. I was interviewing him on our channel, Video Influencers. he covers like phones. He had one channel that niched down and covered only Sprint. Like it was only Sprint phone. Lots of people covering phones. So by like planting your flag in a small area at first, start small to get big. Zig Ziglar put it this way: it's better to be a meaningful specific rather than a wandering generality.
Mm-hmm.
If you name your YouTube channel The Wedding Film Source, you guys could do that because you got momentum, you got influence. You know what I mean? You could go broad because you've already put in the work. You've already built. If you're starting out, figure out about some kind of a niche thing. And this, it might not be immediately obvious on the surface. My friend Juan Pedro really went deep in DIY everything, DIY rig, DIY dolly, DIY, gimbal, DIY. And he had a shop, and his thing was about, so now he's also helping people that are really bootstrapping or just love DIY. It makes sense. He figured out we do the same quote unquote thing, but we're a little bit different. For me, when I started, best camera for YouTube, and I'll tell you my difference because you might on the surface, you go, oh yeah, Sean's a tech YouTuber. Well, no, MKBHD is a tech YouTuber. Guys like that, they cover 3D printer, and I don't really cover that. They cover like smartphones and Teslas and whatever. And so I just cover the tools for creators. So I niched down. Start small to get big. You want to think smaller when you start. Tools for creators. Only cameras, only lighting, only computers and software, only if it's relevant for you creating mainly videos, maybe podcasts, and that's it. Maybe graphic design. Tools for creators. Additionally, I figured out my niche by saying, I'm also not claiming I'm even a filmmaker. I'm not claiming I'm an expert videographer. I'm going to help YouTubers like the beauty girl that wants to do makeup tutorials and is looking for the flippy screen. She does not know what depth of freaking field is. She knows it as how do I get a blurry background? So when I made the video, how do I get a blurry background? I was speaking the language of my target audience. And that's why it's so clear to know who you're actually talking to. So that's also why when some expert filmmaker rolls through and hits me in the comments, I'm like, bro, I'm not even for you. Like, you're critiquing me because I didn't quite describe the exact sensor dual stacked megapixel, right? That's cool. Last time I checked, I've never ran into you at the bank though. And I mean, it's true. I've never seen that guy at the bank. I mean, so it's because I knew. And so I was serving people like homeschool moms that want to make videos. So when I say the best camera, check this out, for YouTube, it doesn't mean it's like the latest red. It probably means it's the Canon M50 because you can flip the screen. It's super affordable. Tap your face. Color looks good when it's set to auto. Records really well. Canon menus are fast. And so it's having that kind of empathy and awareness of exactly who you're talking to and being different. So my niche was... and I had someone articulate this to me the other day. They said, it's just nice watching your videos because it feels like you're talking to the everyday common man. And that is my niche. I want to be like YouTube for dummies and not try. Now, on the flip side, maybe you are the great color grader of our time. And I'm serious. Play to your strengths. It's going to be a smaller niche if it's more advanced, but that might be the opposite side to go. And no, I help people go from, here's another way to put it, 101, 201, 301, 401. I am really maximizing on your 101. I'm going to help you get your camera, punch fear in the face, get started, master YouTube. There might be somebody that's like, okay, I'm going to help you get from 1 million to 10 million subscribers. That's not who I'm going after. And obviously you'd have to be really established. But does that make sense? Like in your niche, how to make wedding films on freaking 35 millimeter film. I haven't seen anybody doing that. Like that would be
right.
That Kodak film camera that came out for a while. I don't think it did that good, but anyways, that was like 16 millimeter film. I saw at NAB, whatever. Here we are.
Yeah. No, I think that's solid advice about, figuring out what's different about you. So many of us, I think, are scared to be different. It's like, go back to middle school and everyone says how I'm an individual, but everyone dresses the same, like that same idea. So finding that thing to make yourself different and stand out wherever that would be. And that's going to be totally different to everyone. everyone in there. So we're getting close on time, so we wanted to wrap out. One thing that I wanted you to be able to speak on a little bit was your Video Ranking Academy.
Yeah. So that's like our signature course, and that'd be for anybody that would be interested in kind of mastering this, getting your videos to show up in search. The same principles that will also get your videos showing on Google. And it's not just YouTube search, it's also showing up in suggested. I consider that as a ranked video. It's when YouTube is recommending your content because of how you've optimized it, but also the content itself, as you mentioned, Nick, right? Mm-hmm. There's a whole module in there. It's 7 R's. It's here they are. People should write these down just because this will be valuable. Number 1, reverse engineer. You start with the end in mind. One of the biggest mistakes people make is like they start and then they go, okay, what should I do with this? They shoot the video. How should I title it? No, like you want to think it all the way through. What am I trying to accomplish on a channel level and on an individual level? Then it's research. You always research before you press record. Keyword research, topic research, planning your video. Then it's actually records your video. How do we structure it in the first part, in the middle, and then it's actually release it, which would be the title, the things you do before the video. Then it's rank it afterwards. So now it's public. What can we do to share it on social, embed it in our blog, do some things like that? Then it's revenue. How can we monetize the video in 10 different ways? And we talk about like affiliate marketing, YouTube ads, but if it leads to your services, maybe not only are you now selling actual weddings, but maybe you have an whatever, multiple different ways to make money. And then finally, repeat and rocket to success. How do you continue and automate that process or systematize it, because you got a business to run, you got clients to shoot, you've got videos to edit. So how do you kind of sustain this YouTube thing and some levers for sustaining it? So the best thing to do, I mean, thinkmasterclass.com. There's a 1 hour training, totally free, and would totally be worth people's time. At the end, people will hear about that program. But even if that's not right for you, that free masterclass will give you so much value. And I do encourage everyone, man, get on YouTube, because exactly, you've heard it too. I mean, John and Nick are the case studies. And it's cool that you start seeing extra income, right? And it builds your influence. And then I think the last thing is to also be patient and remember that YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. So, be willing to put in the work. Yeah. And here's one of the biggest things that will trip people up. You will be able to make a lot more money minute for minute, hour for hour doing client work than you will on YouTube, like by a long shot, for probably a couple years. But what I really would want to get into everyone's spirit here is that build something that gives you leverage in your business, in your brand, and in your income over the next 10 years. Something that can actually help you maybe scale back, as you mentioned, some clients. You said, I'm going to do 2 less clients this year. That means you're home more. And the leverage you create in this golden era of YouTube, and we just talked about it. It's not too late to start, but I don't know if I'd start in 3 years. I mean, I still, of course, I'm going to be beating the drum, but it gets harder all the time. Like, go all in, because the land grab of getting some digital real estate around your niche, around your content, and building a tribe, with trust. I don't even know how this is all going to play out and what it's all going to look like. I'm just going to get started. I'm going to punch fear in the face, punch perfectionism in the face, and press record. You already pressed record behind the camera for the clients you're shooting for. I'm saying get on the camera, create content yourself, become a creator on YouTube to create future leverage for your influence, income, and impact that you're building with your brand.
So good, man. Okay, you just said a lot of different things, and which is good. And for me, I know that our listeners, are hearing from you. You talked about your free 1 hour. I want you to just let us know one more time where they can find that, as well as the best place to reach out or find you on social, so that way they can get going in that process, learning more from you.
Thinkmasterclass.com, THINK, masterclass.com to go watch that. On social, Sean Cannell, SEAN. A lot of people, Uber drivers, CN? Yeah, it's me. And so my wife's name's Sonia, SONJA. Not that you asked, but at Starbucks, we get our drinks, and then it's Scene and Sanja. Yep, that's us.
Scene and Sanja.
Yes, we'll take Scene and Sanja. So Sean, SEAN, Cannell, last name rhymes with YouTube channel, Cannell. So Sean Cannell across social. Would love to connect anybody on Twitter, Instagram, DMs, whatever. Any questions just to help out on social. And then Think Media on YouTube. And I've got a lot of just free training videos there, a lot of resource that would serve people as well.
I've done a couple of those master classes or listened through. I love your content. I love that, on our podcast, we talk a lot about a crock pot over a microwave. And so the crock pot method, that slow, steady build, that drip that you're doing, you're not trying to sell and score on that first date. You're given more than one glass of wine. You're romancing the girl. I love that about you. You're giving the free class, and you're giving the free, and you've given all this free content, for us and just for us to be chewing over. And so if you're out there, be sure, we'll obviously put all these links in the show notes and everything. But Sean, thank you so much for taking the time. We know how busy you are building the empire that you're building. So thank you so much for being on, for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Gentlemen, seriously, the pleasure's all mine. This has been incredibly fun talking to you. I go on a lot of podcasts, but not with anybody that kind of has like the true video chops and kind of like the distinctions you have. So I don't get to talk about this stuff. I mean, nobody knows what a Blackmagic Pocket 6K camera is on 99% of the podcasts I'm on. So love you guys and your community and really appreciate the chance for doing this.
Yeah, you can definitely come talk to us about Blackmagic cameras anytime you want. So if you're watching on YouTube, do what Sean says, like this video, crush it, subscribe. Thank you so much to the amazing community. And until next time, we'll see ya.
See ya.